welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Berg, and joined by my co-host, Vivian Hudson. How are you, Viv?
I'm great, thanks, Mike. And yes, we have a special guest today. And I don't know a whole lot about our special guest, but I do know his name is Dustin, and I know he's a superstar. So I will let you do the formal introduction.
Hey, Viv, have you ever, well, maybe not you, because I know most of your career was as a pharmacist, but I can tell you as a seasoned salesperson that's worked in a couple different industries, I was always a pretty good performer. I'm a put your head down and hustle kind of guy. And no matter what company or what I was doing, I would look up and I'd be like, wow, I'm the top guy in my territory or in my region. And I'd see, yeah, I sold this to 40 doctors where no one else has more than 30 doctors. And then they'll say, oh yeah, but did you hear about this guy over there? He's got 272 doctors. Just some number that blows you away. How the hell? It doesn't matter what industry I'm in. There's always some superstar out there that has some number that's so far beyond you that you just think, how the hell did this person do it? And I could never get there. But Dustin is one of those guys. I got to tell you, because Dustin Hall, thank you. Sorry for the long intro, but thanks for joining us, Dustin.
No problem.
Dustin has started with the pharmacy program that we've talked a lot about on this podcast. The pharmacy program is obviously paying out just some incredible commissions. We have several reps that are on pace to clear 7 figures per year. So that's obviously very exciting. But at the top of the heap here, the tip of the spear is Dustin Hall. Dustin, how many pharmacy deals do you have in first, just so people can cry about this and make themselves feel the same shame that I felt?
I think as of right now, I've got 32 officially in, but I've got like 9 more pending that are looking into the other model, the K1 model. And that'll take me over 40 once they jump on board.
Wow, and that's in about a less than 2-month time span. So that is...
it's actually less than 30 days.
Less than 30, okay. You got me less than 30 days. Now I feel even lower, even worse about myself. Okay, so I think what everybody wants to hear is, how the heck did you do it? First off, who are the call points that you're able to pull in these accounts from? Who are you targeting?
Mainly urologists, and the reason I had such a fast and rapid success here is I'd actually already been working in the urology field in the pharmaceutical sales industry, so I had a comforting and warm welcome into all of these places as I introduced a new product, and once I showed them the details, they absolutely loved it and were willing to jump on board based on the trust factor. However, that's only about 80% of what I brought on board. Some of the other doctors, just to satisfy my own curiosity, I had to venture outside of urology into a couple pain clinics, a couple neurologists, just to kind of test the waters and see how receptive the other industries were. And I've had great success getting through those barriers as well and bringing some of those people on.
So, Dustin, I know the question that is burning on everybody's lips is, what did you say to them to get them to sign up?
I just kind of showed them what we had, and to be honest, I kind of played the dumb card in the beginning, and made the introduction of the company and the product, and kind of asked the doctor if he could just help me out. I mean, we already had the trusting relationship, and just said, hey, is there anything on here that you currently use? I'm kind of new to this, and just kind of trust your advice. And then you just kind of be quiet and let him set himself up for the close. They start pointing and commenting, and once they agree to a few things, you just kind of move in and say, hey, do you mind if I sign you up? We'll get you a script pad and see how this works for you. I'll show you what a 99% adjudication rate can do for your patients.
What are the key selling points that you think that physicians are biting on? Like what are they? What's really resonating with them?
The high adjudication rate is definitely a big one. The compounding industry was pretty big a few years ago, and then it kind of, got the brakes put on it and kind of disappeared for a little bit. And that was mainly because the doctors, would write 10 prescriptions and they'd get 6 calls from their patients about how their insurance wouldn't cover it. So then they have to go back, try something else, and fight for the authorization and all that stuff that nobody wants to take the time to do, and the doctors, frankly, don't have the time to do.
So when you're starting this conversation, you're beginning a dialogue with the physician, is that the first thing that you turn to is the adjudication? Or can you walk us through a
It's
conversation that maybe you had with one of your doctors where this was a fresh idea?
it's definitely one of the first things I go to. The other thing I stress, it builds on the current relationship I have with them, that I'm their go-to, their point of contact if they got questions or concerns or need to follow up on something. If they write a prescription and send a patient out into the world, with no real answer of where they're going, the patient might end up going to Walgreens or Walmart. And for whatever reason, the script don't get filled. The doctor has no way to find out unless Walgreens calls them and informs them. And it can often be something as simple as the quantity's wrong or the dosing's wrong for the insurance to cover it. With this, if the doctor has an issue or the patient can't get the prescription, he can refer back to me and I'll kind of guide him. Hey, you wrote the quantity too big on that. Try to keep the quantity down to this and you'll have no issues getting these through. And that's how we maintain the high adjudication rate. And the doctors love having that.
So once you've got the doctor on board, like I know our experience in the ancillary space, that sometimes getting them to utilize the solution is probably as hard as selling it to them in the first place. So what's your magic trick to actually get them to start prescribing and sending those scripts in?
Well, like I said, in the beginning, everything was based on an existing trusting relationship. So getting the sign up wasn't hard at all. Now I'm in the process of delivering the script pads, which have gotten to me really fast, really accurately, I might add, and I thank you very much because that helps me out. Now that I'm just kind of making my paper route and delivering everything, I'm just kind of hand-holding, and it's well worth it to hand-hold the doctors to make sure that they understand the process. And it's so simple. Check here, write the refills, sign the bottom, fax it to this number. So now I'm just literally showing up with donuts or coffee and following up and making sure that the doctors are using this program to its full advantage.
Wow. And are you working with anybody else in the staff to make sure that everybody is brought up to speed on what you're bringing to the table?
Oh, absolutely. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. 90% of what you do in the office, it involves everybody except the doctor. The doctors are very busy. You're lucky to get the 10 seconds of time you get in a passing conversation. Your main point of contacts are the MA, the PA, the surgery coordinator, the medical assistants. These are the people that handle the prescriptions. These are the people that field the phone calls for the refills. These are the ones that they're the ones that are helping you make your money and making sure the patients get what they need as well. The doctor literally sees the patient, signs the bottom, and then sends the script out into the office. The office staff takes it from there. So you've got to know these people. They've got to know you. I mean, I know most of their kids' names, what kind of coffee they like, what kind of donuts they like. And those relationships are the ones that you absolutely have to nurture and cater to.
And I think that's definitely the key. I know that you started off saying that a lot of it was founded on relationships, but we've had a lot of sales reps also coming in with cold calls and being able to convert doctors, but it's continuing to nurture that relationship and remembering to follow up with them. That is the key to getting them to move forward. So I guess my next question is, what are you going to spend all that money that you're going to make on?
Retirement. Early and frequent.
Yeah, it truly is incredible. I can't imagine when you have 40 practices up and rolling, what kind of income that would be. I mean, you're going to show up on those GDP charts where they show, how California is the 6th largest economy in the world if it was its own country. I think about number 9 would be Dustin Hall.
That'll be great for my retirement portfolio. I'll be in my own little country, my own little island in the Caribbean somewhere.
Yes, you're going to be between like Brazil and Belgium or somewhere in the GDP. So truly incredible. So can you walk us through you mentioned that you have done some cold calls to some fresh offices that you didn't have prior relationships. What I think where a lot of people get hung up, and I can say from personal experience, because this is so lucrative that I've been trying to find time to go out in the field myself. I spent 2 days in the field this week, which is a lot for me. And of course I'm doing a fair amount of cold calls and just venturing outside my comfort zone a little bit. And I appreciate now what a rep goes through, because I remember, I remember what it's like to not have a relationship and to start from scratch. So what is your approach when you hit those gatekeepers?
Well, like I said, that's a little bit of a skill that you kind of put together because I'd already been in the industry. And like I said, so many people make the mistake of, going in and asking for the doctor. And when they say no, they can't get the doctor, they kind of shut down and, already start the process of leaving the office. They hand their card and, okay, I'll come back next Tuesday and see if I can catch the doctor then. And, that's the wrong thing to do. Like I said, to be honest, when I go in and I ask for the doctor, I know that I'm going to get a no on a cold call. The doctor's not going to come out and see me. He's never heard of me. Don't know my product. Don't know my company. He don't have the time. But you have to ask for it. But once I get to that point there, then I ask, well, is medical assistant available or office manager? Or, is there somebody I can speak to? And then, once they generally, probably 9 times out of 10, give me one of the people that I ask for there, then I kind of show them what I have to offer. And most of them know the prescriptions the doctor's writing. They know the processes. They know the things the doctor does, what he likes. I've sometimes had doctors or the office managers tell me, no, this doctor don't see reps. And then once I show them what we have to offer, they actually go and get the doctor. And it's just building that relationship. And one other thing I wanted to add too, once you get the sale, you can't just leave it at that, because they can get the prescription pad and it can just sit there and literally do nothing. I mean, the follow-up is definitely key to this. And that's where, I'm kind of capped out right now until I get these 40 doctors fully trained to, their first line of defense is my script pad. And until I get satisfied with the numbers that I have on all of those doctors, I can't pick up no more right now, because those relationships are worth more to be nurtured rather than going out and getting another 60 doctors to have that nice round 100. But if I got 100 doctors with script pads that aren't writing, I'd been better off with 2 that are.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key, is to get to a certain number of accounts as your goal, perhaps, and then to just go back and just keep revisiting, getting those ones up and prescribing before you kind of hit the next group. So that's a very good
once
strategy.
those ones are going full speed, then you go get another dozen, another 2 dozen, whatever your schedule, your geography will let you handle. And like I said, I'm pretty much capped out right now until I get these ones going, but I don't assume it'll take too long.
Well, yeah. I know you're sitting on, you said 41 deals as you once you pick up these other 9. What is your goal? I know you want to get those 41 prescribing, but what are you trying to get to?
Total in doctors, total in money.
Yeah, let's both. Do you have a goal in mind?
Total in doctors. Like I said, I think I'm pretty comfortable with 40 at a time as far as being able to, nurture them and get them there. That kind of allows me, even at 8 doctors a day I'm visiting 5 days a week, I can see every doctor once a week. If I can do that for 60, maybe 90 days, I can start looking at the data, seeing which doctors are writing, which ones are not. And, then I focus my attention on the ones that are not writing, getting them up to where I'm, happy with the numbers that they're producing. And then I can kind of, stop showing up as often and go back to the cold calling. Money-wise, I just want to get all of it. So,
good answer. Well, Dustin, I think a lot of people will benefit from hearing your story. I know it's inspiring to me when I saw how many accounts that guys like you and Robert Castaneda, who was on the last podcast, and we got a handful of other people that are just having tremendous success. So it's truly inspiring, and you've inspired me to go out in the field myself and pick up some of these accounts, because like you said, the cool thing about this too is we are the only game in town. There is no one out there that is selling a program like this with an adjudication like this. So this is truly unique. This isn't like going out and just selling toxicology accounts where you got 1,000 other reps out there that you're competing against. This is something where we definitely have a competitive advantage. So, Dustin, I wish you continued success and want to thank you for jumping on the podcast with us.
Thank you much. I look forward to talking to you again.
Thanks, Dustin.